Hi friends, welcome back to another pick a card reading. In today's reading, we are going to get a sneak peek into a day in your life as your future self. So we'll get some predictions and some insights into your career, your money, your love life, and your home. This is a general reading. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And as always, trust your own intuition first. Only you know what is best for you. And remember that you always have free will and choice, and that you can make any sort of changes that you want at any time. If you would like to explore my podcast or my online shop, check out the links in my description. Now, if you are new to pick a card readings, here's how it works. The first thing that you're going to do here is you are going to pick the card or the crystal that you are the most intuitively drawn to. So the first card that we have here is Azurite, and we actually have an Azurite Chrysocolla crystal here for pile 1. We have pile 2 here with the Bloodstone card and a Bloodstone crystal. And then we have pile 3 here with the Blue Lace Agate card, and we also have a Blue Lace Agate crystal. So if you need more time choosing, please pause the video, but when you are ready, you can go to the description of this video, find the timestamp that is linked to your pile, and then you can skip ahead to your reading all about getting a sneak peek into a day in your life as your future self. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, and I will see you on the inside. Okay, so pile 1. Let's walk through a potential day in your life as your future self. So the first card that we have here is the Sun. With the Sun here, I feel like your future typical day is going to feel very bright and very purposeful and very joyful for sure. So I don't know if you're going to start out each morning with carving out more time for yourself, or maybe easing into the morning, or doing some sort of like gratitude journaling or scripting, right? Maybe, writing out your manifestations, maybe even like a meditation or some sort of movement, right? Some sort of exercise, just anything that allows you to bask in this positive energy that comes with the Sun. Now, I also feel like your future self takes the time to nurture themselves, right? So maybe you have a very tasty, nourishing breakfast and like a morning walk in the sun, right? Maybe you find ways to connect with nature. And I also feel like in terms of your work day, it feels really creative and super fulfilling. So I do think that you're going to be doing what you love at this point. And I really do feel you shining in your field, like whether it's inspiring other people, inspiring projects, maybe sharing your knowledge or connecting with others in some way. I just feel like the interactions that you have with other people throughout the day is going to bring you a lot of joy and meaning. Now, I feel like maybe later on in your day, maybe you make time for like a hobby or a passion, right? Maybe like art or music or some sort of like fitness activities, anything that really keeps your energy high. And, maybe by evening, maybe you're spending quality time with your loved ones, right? A partner, a pet, right? Maybe if you don't have those things, you spend it with your books, right? Or alone time with yourself. Maybe you are cooking, right? Or enjoying a really nice, relaxed, like gathering or something. Or maybe you're enjoying a quiet evening at home, right? But I do feel like this is the energy of like you ending the day with a very quiet, like reflective practice and really feeling fulfilled and ready for tomorrow. Now, in terms of like your career and your finances and your creative endeavors, we have the Founder, and this one says foundations and community. So in terms of your career, I feel like with the Founder here, you're definitely going to be in a position where you're inspiring others, right? I do feel like you are doing something that is going to create something very lasting. So with the Founder here, I do think that you're going to be seen as a visionary, right? As a leader, someone who's very grounded in their purpose. You could quite literally be some sort of founder or a leader in terms of the work that you do. I do feel the energy of like you exchanging ideas or maybe resources, really strengthening your network and your influence. And when it comes to your finances, when I'm looking at the Founder card here, I feel like your financial foundation is going to be very solid, right? Because there's like this castle here. It's very extravagant. It's very magnificent, and it's very solid, right? It's very stable. So I don't know, for some of you here, maybe you're going to have like a big flow of like money come in, either from like investments or projects, or maybe passive income that you built earlier. But I do feel like this is really going to allow you the freedom to maybe reinvest in your like personal growth and maybe in some community projects. But yeah, I just feel this energy of like allocating resources, right, to further your reach and further your impact, and maybe even create this legacy, you know, for future generations to come. Now, in terms of your creative endeavors with this card, for those of you who are like working on a creative project, maybe some of you here in the future are going to be producing content, right, that really educates and inspires, or maybe you're going to be designing a new community, right? I just think that there's so many things here. Don't limit yourself. This list is not exhaustive, of course. And I think that you're just going to be engaged in work that not only fulfills you personally, but I think it's going to actively nurture and really uplift your community. And I also think that it's really going to amplify your impact and reinforce that vision, right, and that foundation that you're setting. So yeah, I do think in terms of like your creative endeavors, you are going to dedicate some part of your day to either developing content or developing products that really resonate with your community's needs. So I don't know if this involves you like writing or designing or, you know, brainstorming some sort of like creative and unique, innovative solution, right? Maybe for some of you here, you host like a live Q&A or like a workshop or some sort of like online event, right, where you know how to connect directly to your community and reinforce that foundation of trust and that shared purpose that you've established. So yes. Now, in terms of your relationships as your future self, we have trust, and then we have basil here. This is Scorpio energy. So you know, maybe as your future self, your relationships are deeply grounded in trust and mutual respect. I think that, you know, in the future, you're going to have very genuine, heartfelt conversations with your loved ones. I think that you're going to be able to find your people that you can share your dreams and your fears openly. I think that you're going to be able to create this foundation where you can be vulnerable and you can be close with other people, right? I also feel like your future self knows how to prioritize quality time. So maybe you cook together with others, or you engage in some sort of like shared hobby that really strengthens your bonds with others. Maybe it brings you a lot of good luck and joy in terms of the relationship. I also feel like in friendships and your work connections, there's going to be a lot of trust, mutual trust, right? Like people trust you as a confident and a reliable ally. And I think that it's like vice versa too, right? I do think that you have this presence that really brings this sense of security and this sense of prosperity to any sort of connection that you have. So I do feel like your future self really does see every interaction with other people as a chance to build deeper and like more meaningful connections. And I think that you're going to be focused on maybe fostering this long-lasting loyalty or this like shared growth between you and your connections. So let's dive into more insights, more predictions around your career, money, love life, day in your life as your future self. So the next card we have here is the Bat and Hellbore, and then this one says Intuition. So right away, I feel like your future self is going to be even more intuitive. Like I feel like this is my pile that's very intuitive. You're very psychic. You're very, you know a lot of things, right? So I do think that in the future, this sensitivity is even more heightened, right? Or this ability or this skill of yours is even more heightened. So I do feel like your future self has this really like keen ability to sense what's beneath the surface, right? Like, again, I feel like you're almost operating with this like sixth sense. And much like the bat, I feel like you're very good at feeling out situations, really using your intuition with this. I think that you're really, really good at catching like subtle energies in your environment and kind of like reading between the lines and like picking up on what is not said, right? Another thing here with this card is I also feel like you're making a lot of confident decisions, right? You no longer second guess yourself. I think that you're going to be trusting your intuition, and I think you're going to be trusting that it's leading you in the right direction. I also feel like new doors or new opportunities that you once thought were out of reach are going to be opening for you. So maybe keep in mind to act on your gut feelings that really do align with your goals, right? Like follow those intuitive impulses. And another thing with this card too is I think like dream work, right? Maybe like nighttime dream work, maybe like what do they call it? Like dream decoding, maybe even like astral travel, breaking that down. But I do feel like your future self really values dreams as like this powerful tool for understanding your inner world. I do think that you're going to get very potent, like very transformative insights that come from the dream realm. So maybe write down the dreams that you have, pay attention to the dreams that you have. Maybe even these dreams will give you more insights into what your future will look like. So yes. And one last thing here with this card, I feel like your future self is going to be focused on setting like protective boundaries, right? So I think that you're going to be establishing boundaries with other people that really guard your energy. And I do think that it's really going to help you maintain this environment that helps you to maintain this inner peace, right? And maintain this clarity in your energy. So now let's dive into what your home life or your environment will look like as your future self. I want to say that like your home or your environment or where you live, you're going to be surrounded by like beauty and splendor, right? Especially in terms of like the natural world, right? So maybe you're going to live near a forest, right? Or by the water, or with plants and like nature inspired artwork filling your home, right? I just think that your home is going to feel like this sanctuary that really connects you to like the earth and nature and like just the earth's natural elegance, right? Now I also feel like maybe your home or your personal style is filled with bright colors, maybe natural textures, maybe very meaningful pieces that fill your life with that sense of like vibrancy and authenticity, right? Now I also feel like your future self is going to prioritize spending time outdoors, places where maybe you feel small and like connected to something greater, right? So maybe you spend more time walking trails or, you know, spending time by the river or watching sunsets over the mountains, whatever it is, right? I just feel like you're going to be very in tune with like natural rhythms of the earth, the seasons, right? I think that nature is going to become your guide in some way. It's going to be very grounding, and it's going to teach you to honor the cycles of rest and growth and renewal and things like that. So yes. And I also feel like just continuing on with what your home or your surroundings will look like. We have Sonia Delone. And so this one says, don't live to 94 without founding an art movement. The practical should also be art. And does your geometry lack poetry? So again, I feel like your future self is going to be living in a space that's filled with a lot of color, with a lot of life, right? Again, maybe your home is going to be adorned with like textiles or artworks that really showcase like, you know, vibrant colors, bold patterns is what I'm feeling for some of you. I think that every room in your home is like this canvas for creativity. So I think that your style is really going to show through things like your wall art or your furnishings or any sort of like decorative things in your home that really help you to express yourself in an artistic way. And I also feel like I keep seeing like sunlight streaming through really big windows, right? Really large windows. So yeah, especially like with the sun here too. And like we have multiple, like there's a sun here, there's a sun here, things are really bright here, the sun is out here. So maybe you live in like, or maybe your future self lives in a sunnier place, or like there is this element of brightness about your environment. So we also have the Fireflies card here. And again, we're speaking about light. So I do feel like your future self, your light, I think the word light is going to be very significant. This one says shine your brilliant light. So again, I think in your work, in your career, in your home, in your, you know, relationships, you're going to be shining your light, right? You're going to be sharing your insights. You're going to be connected to your intuition. You're going to be maybe surrounding yourself with like, I keep hearing like brighter people, like maybe like surrounding yourself with the circles that your future self wants to run in, you know? I also feel like maybe for some of you here, your future self lives by a place that like lives in a place that has fireflies, or like you and your loved ones spend time watching fireflies. I feel like your future self is going to be very, very inspired. Your future, it sounds so cheesy, but like I keep hearing, your future is going to be very bright. Now we also have the alternate reality card here. This one says, what if? You've probably asked this question while gazing through the rearview mirror of your life. What if you'd said yes? What if you'd said no? Pose this question to yourself while looking forward. Imagine 3 alternate realities for your future, guided by the question, what if? The size of your what if is up to you. Questions could range from, what if I moved to a different country, to what if I unplugged for one day every week? Get caught up in possibility. I love that. Again, get caught up in possibility. So I do think that this message is just here to remind you that there is no cap to how big you can dream. There is no limit to what you can manifest for yourself. If you desire it, it is meant for you, right? If you desire it, then it was meant for you. Trust in your heart's desires, right? If you want to create a future where you are able to create abundance and success and joy and abundance through founding things, through founding solid foundations, right? Through trusting yourself, through creating connections with others that feel trustworthy, right? Through surrounding yourself with beauty, through shining your light, right? I feel like if you want to do those things, don't limit yourself. It can be more miraculous, more beautiful than you ever expected. So yeah, don't put a limit on what it is that you want to create for yourself, what you want to create for your life, for your future. And let's also read what is on this Azurite card here. I will bring it up a little closer. Okay. So the Azurite card here says the astral crystal is associated with the third eye, and it says deep royal blue, often with malachite, which is very transformative. So again, I think your future self is going to be very much transformed. I think even you will be very amazed by how much things have changed in such a positive way. And then emotional qualities here. So it says powerful third eye opener, helps heal negative thought patterns and emotional trauma, strengthens one's sense of identity, improves concentration, facilitates astral and out-of-body travel. That's funny that we're talking about astral travel, dream work. So another confirmation, Pal 1. This one says supports contact with the spiritual and astral realms, brings wisdom. And this one says, I am also an astral being. Yeah, I think your future self is very much, again, really trusting that intuition, really trusting that it's leading you in the right direction. And yeah, so thank you so much, Pile 1. Please give this video a like if it resonates. It really does help the channel. Comment below with what pile you chose, because you know I love to chat with you all in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already, and take care of yourself. I hope to see you on the next reading after this. I have a playlist on my channel, so check it out. Tidal Tarot. I have a bunch of different pick a card topics, a bunch of different formats of readings. So if you feel called, check it out. But if not this time, I'll see you back on the next reading. Bye, Pile 1. All right, so Pile 2, let's walk through a potential day in your life as your future self. So with the 3 of Cups here, I feel like some of you here are going to be waking up in the morning feeling really energized, feeling ready to connect with others, and feeling really excited for your day ahead. The 3 of Cups is a very social card, right? So maybe you meet a close friend or maybe a family member for brunch at a cozy cafe. Maybe over coffee, you catch up on each other's lives. Maybe you're sharing laughter, lighthearted stories. I think that you're just going to be doing things that really strengthen and reinforce your bonds and your friendships and your relationships. And at work, maybe you're engaged in some sort of creative project with your colleagues, right? Something that really does foster this spirit of teamwork and collaboration. I can see you brainstorming ideas together, or really leading these very creative, innovative solutions to things that everybody feels proud of. I just think that this is the energy of celebrating success. So think like celebrating achievements, maybe having like a small party or a gathering, anything that really does reinforce this camaraderie and this mutual support. And you know, maybe like in the evening you attend some sort of community event or like a local festival, right? Maybe you connect with friends and neighbors, and maybe you do things like enjoying, you know, music or food or activities. I just feel like with this card, the atmosphere is really filled with laughter. I think that this is just the energy of you allowing for further connection, further creativity. And yeah, I just feel like your future self has really created this very supportive environment with very deep connections, and the energy and the spirit here is very uplifted, right? There's something to celebrate, there's something to cheers towards. Now, in terms of your future self's career and finances and your creative endeavors, we have the card, the Astronomer. So this one says discovery and augury. So with this, maybe your future self is a very successful professional in your field, right? Maybe this looks like being a consultant or a researcher or a creative director, right? Maybe you start your day with like virtual meetings with your team, right? This could just be some examples out there. I just feel like you're going to be in a role that requires like constant exploration, constant adaptation. Maybe like you're going to be charting new paths or charting something. Like I'm just thinking about like how astronomers will chart new stars in the sky. In terms of your money, I think that you're going to be developing a very diverse portfolio, right? I also feel like you're going to be dedicating more time to develop your financial acumen, right? Something to do with growing your wealth while contributing to causes that you really care about. I also feel like some of you here are going to be dedicating your time to like creative projects, whether this is like writing or art or developing a podcast. I think that whatever you discover, you're going to feel very inspired by. You know, maybe this is your discoveries or your observations of the world around you. I just think that some of you here would be really good at like writing a blog or creating content that really bridges these insights with artistic expression, right? So maybe sharing your perspectives on things that have to do with creativity or science, right? Maybe some of you here even get into like astrology, right? Maybe some of you out here are going to be like reading people's charts or helping people find their strengths with their, you know, within the stars. Remember that this list is not exhaustive. You can definitely create whatever role it is that you want to see. But yeah, I just think that your career is going to be very expansive. Your finances are going to be very expansive. Your creativity, it just feels limitless. So, what do they say? I keep hearing that like shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars, something like that, right? So, now in terms of your future selves relationships, we have the wisdom card here. This one says Bay, and we have Leo energy here. I think it's really interesting that we have like a book, maybe a tarot card or an oracle card. So I do think that, again, maybe for those of you who are interested in doing like divination readings, you know, birth chart readings, tarot readings, scrying, whatever it is, right? Maybe that has something to do with your future self and what your future self is interested in, or how you're making money from, you know, your creativity, or maybe this is like a hobby of yours. And yeah. Okay. So in terms of wisdom, I feel like your future self is going to find yourself in some sort of like mentorship role. I think that you're going to be able to share life lessons or offer some really heartfelt advice to people who come to you for your support or your wisdom or your insights. I just think that you have this natural ability to listen deeply and to help other people recognize their own strengths, you know, just as you've learned to do on your journey. Now, I feel like with Leo energy here, it does inspire you to lead in your community, right? Or form connections that are based on shared values, right? So maybe this looks like you hosting gatherings where people feel very welcomed. Maybe they feel very uplifted. Maybe this looks like a monthly book club, or like some sort of circle where you come together and you share your wisdom or you share your insights, right? I think that your future self is going to be focused on really creating a space for other people to grow together as a community, right? For a space for other people to grow alongside you. And I think that in terms of your romantic relationships in the future, I really do think that you're going to embody a lot of courage and authenticity. And I do think that the cool thing about your future self is with this, you're going to create this space that's going to allow for both yourself and your partner to be fully seen and celebrated for who you truly are, right? I think that your romantic relationship is going to be one where you give and receive love very generously. I think that it's going to be a relationship where you show admiration and affection. Maybe some of you here are going to have a relationship where like you or your partner, like give each other thoughtful surprises that really speaks to each other's dreams or their ambitions, right? And then for some of you here, this is a specific message, but for those of you who have like younger family members, or you're mentoring those who are younger than you, or, a friend or a client, maybe they're a couple steps behind you in some sort of journey in their life that you've been through. I do feel like you're going to be able to offer them some very gentle but wise guidance. And I think that you're going to be able to empower this person to step into their own light. So for example, maybe you're like the go-to person for like a niece or a nephew who seeks your advice on maybe navigating a new stage of life, right? Maybe sharing like any sort of wisdom that you've cultivated. Like for example, right? Maybe your little sister is pregnant and she's going to have a baby, and you've already had a couple children, and you, when she gives birth, you fly out to wherever she lives and you're there to help her during like this postpartum period. And you're there to offer your insights, your wisdom, but you're also there just to hold space, right? You're there to celebrate her and this beautiful new life she's brought into the world, but you're also there to be that go-to person, right? To navigate this new stage of life for them. So that's just one example. Now let's dive into any other insights here in terms of your life as your future self, anything as it has to do with your career, money, love, your home. But we have the Hound and the Pair here. This one says loyalty. So I want to point out that like in terms of your daily routine, I think that you are going to start your day with routines or rituals that really honor this loyalty to yourself, right? So you take time to nourish your body, right? You take time to care for yourself, right? And I feel like your career is also going to reflect loyalty and trust, right? So maybe you're in a role where people are going to depend on you for your insights, your wisdom, your integrity, right? Or, maybe if you're mentoring other people, you are building lasting professional relationships that really do benefit from the wise approach that you take, right? I do think that, again, colleagues are going to view you as this go-to person, or someone who upholds like a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. And I also feel like loyalty is going to shine through with your connections. So not only are you going to have like loyal friends, loyal coworkers, loyal romantic relationships, loyal family members. So yeah. In terms of your home or your environment, or like what it looks like for where you're going to live in the future, you have the Sacred Mountain card. So I wonder if you're going to be living somewhere in the mountains, or somewhere where you can see the mountains from, or somewhere that's very grounding in some way. I definitely think that your future self has cultivated this very deep sense of like inner peace and resilience. I do feel like you are going to be living in a place that feels very relaxing and very grounding. Maybe some of you, because for some of you who are like, I really like an urban area, I really like a metro area, maybe you're going to be purchasing property in a more remote area, and you're going to be like going there as your like vacation home, or you're going to be like renting it out in some way, or vacation renting it. That's for a specific some of you, but I just think that you're going to be living in a place that feels very sacred to you, some place that feels very divine in terms of the nature or the scenery around it, if that makes sense. We also have Georgia O'Keeffe. This one says, nature can keep a secret. keep Freud guessing, and you can't run away from yourself, but running away from others can be quite productive. So yeah, with this, I feel like your future self is going to be living with a sense of calm and clarity, and I do feel like they're going to be finding beauty in just the simplicity of everyday moments. So I do think that your environment or your surroundings are going to be carefully curated. Like, I can see your home filled with objects that really inspire and nourish your soul, right? So maybe like a canvas by the window, or desert flowers in like a clay vase, or maybe some stones that you've collected from a recent hike near, you know, your favorite trail or whatever it is, right? I just think that your days are going to be spent embracing your creative side, right? Embracing your artistry with a disciplined but gentle rhythm. You know, maybe you're painting or creating like in a quiet place, but with like a fierce passion. It's very interesting. It's very dynamic is what I'm feeling. But I do feel like the essence of like your environment or your surroundings, it just feels very sacred. It feels very wise. It feels very meditative. Feels very, I don't know, rich in terms of the way that you're able to curate your life. Now, we also have the leaf card here. I do think that this is representative of you turning over a new leaf. So maybe you're going to be totally just blown away by how much your future self has transformed, or how beautiful the life is that your future self has created for you. And then we have here, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Ralph Waldo Emerson. We have a butterfly here. Again, I think, so butterflies are very symbolic of transformation, of change, of, you know, kind of like, it's almost like, what's that word? It's like destiny, right? Like a caterpillar, right, is always destined to become a butterfly, but it takes time, and they, you know, they grow in different stages, different phases of life. So I think that for those of you who are feeling like, man, all of this that you're explaining here, all of, you know, this future day in my life, a sneak peek into the life of as my future self, this sounds really great, but this sounds so far off from my current reality, or this feels so different than what I've actually lived in my life, so I don't even know if this is possible. And just know that like this confirms that like sometimes it is slow and steady wins the race, right? Like good things take time, and I think that as you plant the seeds, trust that what's going to bloom for you is going to be a lot more amazing than what you could have ever expected. We do have the You Have What It Takes card here. This one says, you have what it takes. You've lived through whirlwind years. You've had moments where you thought you couldn't keep going, and somehow you're still here. Your story isn't quite like anyone else's. Your winding journey can be a strength if you allow it to be. It's okay to take a different path. Release outside expectations and reclaim your confidence. You're resilient, you're resourceful, you're supported. Whether you leap or baby step, remember you have what it takes. Wow. I love that this comes on the heels of what we were just talking about. Like, for those of you who feel like, yeah, this future, you know, this future self, this future life sounds great, but it sounds far off from what I'm currently experiencing, remember that you have what it takes, right? You've gone through everything that you've gone through, and you didn't just go through it just to get to this point and stop, right? Your journey is going to continue. It's going to be more miraculous than you could have ever expected. I know I keep repeating myself with that, but I keep feeling the need to drive that home, right? It's okay to take a different path. It's okay if your journey looks different than other people, right? Let's also read more about the Bloodstone card here. Okay, so you have Bloodstone. This one says blood and detox. It's associated with the root chakra. And this one says deep green, blue-gray, or blue-green with red flecks. So the emotional qualities of Bloodstone include combination of green and red coloration helps ground spiritual awareness in physical reality, provides nurturing, helps clarify emotional confusion, improves confidence, courage, and motivation. I release all physical and emotional toxins. Ooh, interesting. You know what I'm thinking? Immediately when I started reading this card, I had this feeling that some of you are going to need to leave some things in the past. before moving forward into your future reality. So like if you still have like toxic friendships, if you still are surrounded by haters, if you are still allowing BS to permeate in your life, I do think that you're going to be putting a stop to this, right? Your future self is surrounding themselves with loyalty, right? So in terms of Bloodstone, I think that you're going to be releasing the things that no longer serve you to make more room for what you truly desire in life, right? Which is celebration, success, right? Supportive community, loyalty, right? Wisdom, success, peace, relaxation, serenity, right? Courage, confidence. You have what it takes. Bloodstone can be a crystal that you can use to heighten your confidence, courage, and motivation. So that's pretty cool. And yes. Okay, so thank you so much, Pile 2. Please give this video a like if it resonates. It really does help the channel. Comment below with what pile you chose because you know I love to chat with you all in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. Take care of yourself. I do hope to see you on the next reading right after this. Check out my channel, Tidal Tarot. I have a bunch of different pick a card readings from a bunch of different topics. I have long, detailed videos as well as short, quick videos if you need to catch a quick reading on the go. But yes, if not this time, I will see you on the next video. Bye, Pile 2. Okay, so Pile 3. Let's walk through a potential day in your life as your future self. With the Page of Swords here, maybe you start the day with some sort of like energizing mental ritual or like routine. So maybe like you journal, maybe you jot down a couple like fresh ideas or maybe some insights from your dreams, any thoughts you have, maybe any plans. I just feel like you're going to be eager to tackle maybe like new ideas, new concepts. So maybe you're going to be like diving into a book or an article or maybe a podcast on some sort of topic that you're passionate about. You know, I also think that throughout your day, you're going to be maybe like looking for opportunities for quick learning bursts, right? So maybe your work or studies are going to involve some sort of problem solving or communication or some sort of like project that I would say like keeps your mind very engaged and your ideas like flowing. And your day's going to have short breaks that are filled with like mental stimulation, right? So maybe you're like spending your time doing puzzles or like brief research on, you know, different topics that you're interested in. But I do think that with this card, communication is going to be key for you. I think that communication is going to kind of be the highlight of your daily routine, right? Maybe you are a podcaster yourself, or maybe you're a writer yourself, or, you know, maybe you brainstorm with people, or you're messaging with colleagues, or, you know, you're organizing thoughts for an upcoming project. I just feel you're going to be focused on taking action with this sense of curiosity, right? So this energy of being experimental, finding new methods to really optimize your work, right? I also feel like maybe your afternoon or like the end of day routine, it feels like it's time for like physical activity, right? Because you spend so much time in the mind or so much time communicating that it'd be a good time to schedule time in for like physical activity, because this could be an outlet to like refresh that creativity or refresh your mind or get new insights, right? Like sometimes the best ideas come to us when we're moving our body or we're taking a walk or we're in the shower, right? So I think this is a reminder to like get out of your mind as well, because this is what keeps that creative well like going, you know? But by the end of your day, Pile 3, you're gonna wind down your day by doing some sort of activity that feels relaxing to you, but then it also feels like it's thought-provoking, right? So maybe like a thought-provoking show or a thought-provoking book, right? Or maybe you spend your evening too like creating some sort of clear plan for the next day, or like there's a sense of like readiness, you know? I think being prepared for the next day is what I'm feeling here. In terms of your future self's career, finances, any sort of creative endeavors, we have the Diviner. This one says divine timing and evaluation. So with this card, I feel like in your career, you've definitely stepped into a role that allows you to use your intuition and your wisdom daily. So maybe you're in a position where guidance and insight and reflection are very, very important, right? So maybe some of you are going to be like coaches or spiritual advisors or some sort of leader that is guiding others in terms of strategy, right? I feel like you making decisions is going to feel almost like instinctual, and I feel like other people are going to be drawn to this unique ability of yours to really assess situations with this precision and clarity that a lot of other people don't have. I feel like your career is something that's going to evolve over time, right? There's the element of divine timing here, right? So I feel like your future self isn't worried about like rushing into like any specific path, but more like just making sure that every move is intentional and aligned with like your higher purpose, right? I think that your financial situation is going to be very stable. I think that you've learned to trust that resources will come as needed. You know, resources come in unexpected ways. I also feel like your future self is really good about evaluating each opportunity very carefully. Your career and your finances are going to be marked by a really good sense of you having a really strong sense of discernment and being careful and prioritizing things that are really aligning with where you want to go and who you want to be. So in terms of your creative endeavors, I feel like rather than chasing trends, like I feel like your work is going to follow maybe its own unique rhythm, right? So I feel like maybe your projects are going to unfold with a natural flow, right? And I do feel like these projects are going to like mature in their own time, if that makes sense. So with this card, you're deeply connected to your inner muse. I feel like for those of you who are creating art or doing writing or, you know, producing content, I think that you're going to be doing this in a way that like really resonates with you on a soul level, but really resonates with other people on a soul level too. And I think that your creative process, it's going to be less about like productivity. It's going to be more about waiting for the right moment to act or producing work that feels timeless and very impactful. I don't know why, but I feel called to just say that if for those of you who are interested in learning about like human design or astrology or personality types, I do have a podcast that is all about how to use self-discovery tools to leverage your, you know, success and satisfaction in your career, in your relationships, and in your life in general. So check that out. It's linked for you in the description. I just felt like there might be a couple of you on here who would feel called to use a tool like that. But in terms of your relationship, we have the success card. This one says peppermint. We have Libra energy here. As your future self, I feel like your relationships are going to be very, very fulfilling and supported. I feel like it's, you know, they're going to be rooted in the energy of success. I feel like with peppermint's refreshing clarity and like Libra's balance, I just feel like these connections are going to feel very pure. They're going to feel very refreshing, and they're going to feel very harmonious, right? It's going to feel kind. It's going to feel very social and maybe a lot of like thought exchange, you know? And I think that this makes perfect sense because we also have the Page of Swords here. But I also feel like your relationships are going to be very open, very honest, right? They're going to be ones that, I don't know, I just keep hearing like equilibrium, right? Like they're going to be like an equal energy exchange. Let's dive into more insights. So we have the bear and cedar. This one says leadership. So I do feel like your future self is going to hold some sort of role in like leadership. So whether this is like, you know, in a regular corporate world or maybe an entrepreneurship, but I also think that you can be a leader in your own household, right? I'm feeling like for some of you out there who have like a household that feels very chaotic, or like there's a lot of competing decisions or ideas, or like it just feels like a chaotic mess of a soup. Trust your intuition, trust your ability to lead. I think that you have these ideas that are very, very great. I think you have strategies that are great. By you like leading others and kind of like, I see like a shepherd guiding some sheep, and I'm not saying that like the people in your house are sheep or anything like that, but I'm just saying you have that shepherd's ability to kind of get the group, get the family, get whatever, you know, whatever it is that is your community. I feel like you have this ability to get people going on the right track and to guide them in the right ways and to lead the whole group as in a way that's just in the best interest and in the direction of the well-being of all people, right? All of them. So, okay, in terms of your home, like what your home or your environment may look like, I don't know if your future self is going to live in a place that experiences like snow. Like, I don't know if they have a snowy season, or if it's like most of the year you have like a colder climate. I can hear a couple of you saying, no, I like really prefer a warm tropical climate, but I do prefer to like vacation in a colder climate, right? Or like experience opposites is what I feel. So it just depends on your situation. But I do feel like in the future, maybe your environment looks like one that's either very like wooded, or there's a forest, or maybe that there's a winter season there. I think it's also going to be a very unique place, especially with the energy of white buffalo. The white buffalo is very, very sacred as well. So I feel like maybe you live in a place that feels very sacred to you. I also feel like with the Filippo Marinetti energy here, so this one says, forward march, looking backward ensures a broken neck. Your art should wage war, and the only constant will always be contradiction. So yeah, again, I think that it's like your environment's like maybe one where you can flip between opposites, right? Like you can live in a cold environment, you can live in a warm environment. Like there's no set, like you're not stuck in any one path, right? But I also feel like you might be traveling a lot too, especially with the plane here. Maybe your future self travels a lot. Or, you know, it's interesting. For those of you who don't feel like you're going to be doing a lot of physical traveling, or you're not interested in doing that, I also feel like for those of you who are interested in divination, using cards, using methods of exploring inner worlds and your inner intuition, I feel like that could be your form of travel too. But you're going to unlock a lot of new doors. I feel like you're almost going to be exploring new territory, uncharted territory. And I think that's where the leadership comes in too, because leaders often have to traverse territory and environments that other people have not trailblazed before. And I think that's what this success is talking about too. I also feel like in terms of your future selves, like daily life, I do feel like, I don't know, I just feel like this modern energy. So maybe your home feels very modern. Maybe it feels, I don't know, it just feels like thrilling in some way. Maybe you have like art pieces that feel very vibrant or like urban, right? Or maybe some of you flip back and forth between like living in an urban landscape and then like back to like nature, something like that. With this card too, I feel like your creative expression is going to like change and develop over time too. Like it's not just going to stay in one way, right? Like say, for example, if you're a writer, you're not just going to keep writing in that same way forever. Like you're going to maybe change up your style, right? Like this is so basic to say, but like maybe you were a fiction writer, now you're going to be a nonfiction writer, right? And you're like, I would have never thought I would write that, but you know, now I'm traveling in new territories, doing different things. It's doing a lot of exploring too, right? I do think that with this card, it's like there's an open road ahead for you. There's a lot to be discovered. There's a lot to be explored. So I think it's about getting excited about the journey ahead. You might not know what it is that is right around the corner, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, pile 3. This one says, afoot and lighthearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me. Walt Whitman. But yeah, there's definitely the sense of adventure with this card. I think there's a lot of adventurous spirit in your future self's life, but I also think that you will be going on a lot of adventures. And for those of you who do resonate with wanting to travel more, I think that that's definitely in the cards for you. We also have the Notice Your Instinct card here. This one says, your brain wants to make things easy for you. It builds shortcuts to free up capacity. These shortcuts need to be examined occasionally. Otherwise, you might be headed on autopilot in the wrong direction. Think of your knee-jerk reactions as conversation starters. Sometimes your instincts make valid points. Other times they're operating based on an experience you had when you were 6 years old. You've got to ask questions to see which shortcuts are actually serving you. Lean into your shortcuts before allowing them to take the lead. I feel like you're going to be shedding your old identity and you're transforming into the you that you've always been. So for those of you who feel like you're releasing the conditioning, maybe the programming that was placed on you by family, maybe society, maybe your community, I do feel like you're shedding that old identity and you're really stepping into the version of you that you knew you always were. Yeah, that's what I'm really feeling from this. Let's read more about blue lace agate. So this one says tranquility. Throat chakra, powder blue with white striations. So I do feel like your future self's life is going to be very cool. It's going to be very peaceful. I think that you are going to be able to live in a really deep state of calm, which is really great because the emotional qualities here say creates a state of deep calm, clarity, optimism, and healthy self-perception, uplifts the spirits, calms anger, helps facilitate gentle and respectful but effective communication and self-expression. And this one says, I am a gentle soul. I love that. And I love that, like, we've talked so much about your future self's kind of like life being marked by this energy of like communication, right? We had the Page of Swords. And when we do divination, we're trying to communicate with, you know, our intuition, our higher self, whatever it is that you resonate with. And, you know, leaders have to communicate. I just think that it's cool that you, oops, we went out of focus. I just think that it's cool that you chose blue lace agate, which is the stone for communication and calm, effective communication. So yeah, this is a great stone. I don't know if some of you are going to end up working with blue lace agate, especially for those of you who, you know, are writers, creators, anything to do with the expressive field, leaders, teachers. So yes. So yeah, thank you so much, Pile 3. Please give this video a like if it resonates. It really does help the channel. Comment below with what pile you chose. I really do love to chat with you all in the comments. Take care of yourself. I do hope to see you on the next video after this. Check out my channel, Tidal Tarot. I have a bunch of different pick a card readings from a bunch of different topics. Long form videos, short form if you need to get a quick reading on the go. So thank you so much for being here and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye, Pile 3.